Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk, live from the City of Angels here on this Thursday night, aka Spider-Verse 2 opening night. We love these streams whenever we have a massive film coming into the multiplexes like we have here tonight. Summer's officially arrived. I mean, you really look at the schedule upcoming, starting here with Spider-Verse, obviously last weekend, Little Mermaid, before that, Fast X. Pushing forward, we got Oppenheimer to talk about. We got a 3-hour runtime on that. It's R. How will that affect box office? Elementals coming up. Indiana Jones 5. I mean, it is just one after the other. Mission Impossible 7. I think that's the one that's end up being the biggest hit this summer. Let's get into it. What'd you think about the movie? Now, I saw it again tonight. At least I watched the first half or so. It's a long film. I mean, listen, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. It doesn't need to be 220. My number one note, Eric's fix it for Spider-Verse 2, is I would compress this film and make it about 155. There are scenes in this film that run too long. In fact, I'd argue almost every single scene exceeds its natural expiration date, right? When you're watching something, you're like, okay, we're ready, let's move on. I think when you really feel it here on this film, and by the way, I really like the film. I'm going to give you a score here in a minute because I didn't give you the score the other night because we had the review embargo. When you get to the barbecue on the rooftop, that entire scene is too damn long. And the thing is, these filmmakers, and this is a big issue we're going to talk about here tonight. Now, I don't want you to think that I changed my tune on this at all and saying like, oh, this is terrible. Spider-Verse 2 is a bad film. No, what we're doing now is we're nitpicking, but it is a big one because it is a problem in the industry. We're allowing these directors to make movies that are as long as they damn wish. And we can't be doing that because what is always the case? Less is more. Always, okay? And in this case, it would have been more had the film been less. That said, listen, I gave it a 91%. That is a solid A minus for me. The runtime is what brings this thing down from a 95 plus. Anything you talk about 95 plus for me, you're talking about a really like near masterpiece. Okay. So 91's very high for me. I want to mention this too. If you went to the movies tonight, you probably got one of these lovely posters. I always get these like opening night. Here it is. The Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse poster. They handed this to people that went to Dolby and IMAX, I think Prime at AMC here tonight. In fact, if you're in LA, next time I see you, if you want this, you're more than welcome to have it. I don't need these posters. I have no need for them. Let's get to your comments because I want to see what you thought of the film. But it's important to note that the runtime is an issue here, and it shouldn't have been as long as it is. Let's look at Rotten Tomatoes right now and see where it stands. The critics are at 95%. We figured it would be that high. Audience score 98. Not surprising. Okay. This is a film that is going to be well liked by the vast majority of people who see it. They're going to have two issues. One, the runtime, and two, the fact that it's not a complete film. It is a cliffhanger. And as such, those are going to be issues for the average moviegoer because they want to see a full story. They don't want to see half of a story, even though we've been there before just recently with Fast X, right? Going back, obviously, a much bigger film, Infinity War. It just leaves you on the cliff and you're like, well, when's the next one coming? But that's what this film was. And if you didn't know that, then that's going to bring your grade down as well. Okay, let's get into the comments here for what you think of the film. And then we're going to get it. We have so much to talk about tonight, guys. It is a big discussion about all kinds of things here tonight, including, yes, Oppenheimer, that 3-hour runtime. Just what we talked about, directors going too long. I want to also, before I get to some reactions here, okay, film, can't wait for the third one, Black Punisher, welcome to the stream. I want to say that I think the first 20 minutes of this film are fire, right? The Spider-Gwen sequence with her jamming out in the drums, like just going nuts. That whole opening sequence, as I told you the other night, reminded me of Moon Age Daydream. It's got a lot of threads of that psychedelic, just real experimental, artistic as hell. That's what I love, and I think that's where this film really succeeds, is that first 20 minutes. The intro of this film is pretty much perfection. And then we get to the actual film that needs to be compressed. And I think even the ending could have ended and it just keeps going. And I just wonder if these studio heads have the balls anymore to tell these directors the film is too long. You've got to compress this. You can keep everything you got, but everything needs to be trimmed. And just a few things just here and there taken out across the entire length of the film, and then you end up with a 2-hour film. It's just, God, it's such an issue all the time. I heard they're making a Miles Morales live action movie and a Spider-Woman animated or live action film. Okay, let's talk about that, because here's the article. I'm glad you brought this up, because we're going to talk about Spider-Verse a lot here tonight, and then into Oppenheimer, some Fast X, Vin Diesel talking shit about Jason Momoa. There's a lot of stuff to discuss here tonight. But I do want to get to that. We're going to make a live action Miles Morales. And the question is really simple. Do we need a live action Miles Morales after you just sold? If we're going to just remake Spider-Verse 1 as a live action film, why is the question, right? It's like Little Mermaid. Why do we need that film? If you're not going to change anything, if you're just going to give me a live action version, I can tell you why we're going to get one. It's because Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is a cash cow. It doesn't matter what you do with Spider-Man. This film is going to be a huge success. I mean, look at it this weekend. We're going to talk about box office here in a second. The first film opened at 35. I've got this film pushing past 100. I'll give you my number in a minute. And a lot of you finally coming around. I told you the other night it's going to happen. This film is going to be huge. Tonight really cemented my thoughts on that, because I saw the crowd that was at the Burbank 16, and it was diverse. And we'll tell you what that means to box office in a minute. But the reason they're going to make this Miles Morales live action is because they can make cash on it. Hollywood, when they run out of ideas, they're like, let's just repackage it. Let's remake it. Let's turn it from animated to live action. Here's the question, though. Would we ever flip a live action film and turn it into an animated film? Can you imagine? Like, hey, by the way, Focus is going to make an animated Tar. Now, listen, you guys know I love Tar, but even I don't want to watch an animated Lydia Tar. So what are we doing here? Why are we doing animated to live action? When are we going to do live action to animated? It's a cash cow. That's what it is. An animated Tar. I don't even want it. Okay. All right, let's get to some more comments. I want to talk about box office too. Anyone else who saw it, let's do it. 91 is a good score, right? 100%. It's an A- for me. I had it at 95, and the second viewing, the length of it, I have to bring it down. It's a big problem, okay? It just always is whenever a film runs too long. My child says Spider-Verse 2 is in her top 10 films ever. Alan Ng, I believe it. I mean, especially because your daughter's young. She hasn't seen the films you have, right? So if you haven't seen as many films, you're going to say this is one of the best, because it is. It is definitely one of the best animated films and the most artistic, I think, from a visual and oral perspective, right? From those two, from the audio-visual perspective, this is perfect. If you want to be blown away by a film sensory-wise, this film will do that. And it's very anime, isn't it? Like when you watch the fight scenes, the opening fight scene with the vulture, right? The Da Vinci vulture, and you go to Spider-Man 2099, there's a lot of anime action going on here. It looks very much like that. Animation stronger this time around. No question about it, Alan. So I'm not surprised your daughter loved it. Thanks for being here, by the way, bud. Nice poster. Can't hold a candle to the gray man. You're gonna do. I pushed it out of the way. I had it. Oh, but I do have a surprise for you guys tonight. I'm so glad you brought this up. I forgot when I went to see the Gray Man. I forgot to tell you guys, I didn't just get a popcorn box. Oh no, I didn't. I was digging through all my stuff. I got a Gray Man cup. Did I ever show you that? Look at that. Let's make it larger so you guys can appreciate the Gray Man cup. And we got Gosling and Evans. And then there they are in the back. I mean, this is worth some cash. This is something to drink the finest beverage on planet Earth out of. Not really. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Part 2, domestic box office total 250 to 260, international 5. I think you're too low. It's going to be higher. It's going to be way higher. Okay, let's get to the number. Since we're here and we're talking about box office, let's do it. Spider-Verse 2 box office prediction. Remember, the first one opened at 35 million back in December of 2018, and then it made up a lot of cash over the Christmas corridor, because why? The Christmas corridor is the most lucrative 2+ weeks of the movie-going calendar, period. Even summer. It's bigger at Christmas. Everyone's off. They go to movies, and that's why the studios cram so much stuff in there this year. Every year. Look at Warner Brothers this year. They could have 3 films in the Christmas corridor. I think one's moving out. But you have Aquaman, you have Wonka, and you have The Color Purple. That should tell you, if one studio is putting 3 movies potentially in the multiplexes during the Christmas corridor, that tells you everything you need to know about sales, right, during the Christmas corridor. They're huge. Let's do a sales check, because I do want to show you what is happening at the multiplex, because we always do this on a Thursday. We look at the sales. This is a 9:00 show that we just went off, moments ago. Look at this. It is, almost everything sold. Even the front row has a few seats sold. That is a big crowd there at the 16. That's the Dolby. Let's go to the IMAX next door. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it over. My email sometimes gets weird. Here we go. Boom. Okay, here's IMAX. You can see there. First 2 rows have some people in it. That's big. That's at 8:30, almost sold out. Let's go to Century City. Let me hit that. Look here. This is Century City. This is almost sold out. Same thing. Universal's the same. This film is going to outperform this weekend. Okay. And I'm telling you, I told you the other night, my number was big. Here it is right now. MMT projector. We nail these things. We're really good at this. Here it is. It's 117.5 for the 3. That would be, what is that? A 70% increase on the first? Something like that? That's how much bigger this film would be. And you're going to ask, why do I have this number so high? Because I see the audience, and it was affirmed for me tonight when I saw the crowd that was in the Dolby Cinema with me tonight. You have every ethnicity. You have every age. You have the true 4-quad film going here. For those of you who don't know, a 4-quad film, young, old, male, female, and whatever else you identify as. It's everybody. It's the whole movie-going pie. And that is what we have here with Spider-Verse. The other reason this film is going to do better than we anticipated, because Little Mermaid did not do as well last weekend. We talk so often about the wave theory, the wake theory. You do not want to be on the backside of a gigantic box office wave. And Little Mermaid underperformed, so the wave wasn't as big. And therefore, we're going to have a bigger take here from Spider-Man 2. You wait and you see. When we come back here on Sunday night, you watch. This thing's going to be way bigger than everyone expected. I got it at 117.5. And the thing that going forward, if we look to next weekend, Transformers, The Rise of the Beast is in a really terrible spot, because this film is going to take so much oxygen. Spider-Verse 2 is going to take so much oxygen out of the marketplace that you are going to be, if you're Paramount, you are sweating it right now, because that film is in trouble. I don't care how good it is. The early reviews are strong. We'll talk about it next week. Transformers is not in a good spot. Let's get to a few more comments, and then I do want to do, this is going to be fun. We're going to do a physique critique based on Across the Spider-Verse. I was sitting there like, of course, like, hello. And it's not as obvious. You're thinking it's an obvious thing. It's not. Alex, welcome to the stream. Studio, it's too long. Can you cut 20 minutes? It's not, you make it sound, Alex, I know what you're doing. I get it. But listen, it's not like that simple, right? We're not just going in and saying arbitrarily, cut 20 minutes. It's too long. Every scene in Across the Spider-Verse 2 bleeds on too long. It is now to a point where studios are allowing directors to do whatever they want with their films. And while that sounds like a great thing, right? On paper, oh my gosh, let the director do what they want. You still have to have some oversight, because not every director or producer or writer has the ability to self-edit. We talk about this stream all the time, that it's too long at an hour. I would argue 10 minutes is too much. But we know how to self-edit. If you've noticed, when we do the reaction streams now, we're doing like a 15-minute reaction stream. It's not an hour. Okay, tonight's going to be longer. Sunday night's a longer show. Those are our lengthy shows, our extended versions. But the other stuff's shorter. You want to do physique critique? Let's do it. Okay, here it is. You guys ready? The physique critique is tonight Spider-Man 2099. I was watching the movie again tonight, and I'm like, listen, this guy is jacked. I mean, when you look at Spider-Man 2099, you're looking at a specimen. Look at this dude. I mean, look at the traps. Let's just start with the traps on Miguel O'Hara. Correct? Give me a thumbs up if I'm right. Spider-Man 2099. Look at this dude's traps, okay? Played by Oscar Isaac. Voiced by, I should say. And look at the biceps, triceps, the chest. This is like steroid superhero. He looks amazing. If they ever had to cast Spider-Man 2099, there'd be no way to do it. There'd be no actor, well, except for the guy that's in Fast X. You know, the big dude, the gigantic guy, the new guy in Fast X. I don't know his name. He also plays Jack Reacher, that dude. He could do it. That guy's like cartoonishly big. He's the only person, but the problem is he doesn't fit the demographic. He can't be Miguel O'Hara. So we got to find another, because look at him. He's yoked. My boy is like roided out of his mind. Alan Ritchson. Thank you. He is, but he is not. Everyone's in here going, you guys are awesome. Donald and superhero movies. Thank you. That guy is like, it's funny. I see guys at the gym. You guys know I try to go to the gym as much as possible. I see some guys at the gym sometimes, and they are too big for their head. Have you ever seen one of those guys? Like their body is like this gigantic thing, and their head's like not that large. It's like not like tiny, but it's just not nearly as big as the rest of the body. And I'm like, dude, you look ridiculous. You look like a cartoon, man. You need to dial your body back. And that's where I feel like Richardson is. He's just too big. He needs to get smaller. Okay. It's all about being in proportion. And Richardson is a monster. He's absolutely monster. Maybe we'll think about that. We'll think about listen, it lends itself. This dude is what most guys would want to look like. Spider-Man 2099, right? All right, let's get into some more things here tonight. And anything else comments-wise about the film Spider-Verse, well, let's do it. But we did talk about the live action Miles Morales. We did all that. Let's talk about this quickly, because this is just a little thing. We have the stream that has the reaction of the Boogeyman. I think the Boogeyman is a film that is going to do well as counter-programming this weekend. For the people that don't want to go see Spider-Verse, and there is a few, maybe they'll go check out a PG-13 horror film that's okay. The Boogeyman is just okay. It's not nearly as strong as a Smile. I would put it about the same level as Barbarian. Barbarian's more interesting to me because it takes risks and it's weird, even though I think it's hugely derivative of Don't Breathe. I mean, like plagiaristically derivative. But this film is just like a perfect PG-13 horror film, right? It's not that menacing. I think it's going to end up doing better than people expect. I got that 17.5 on that. That's a good number. I mean, if Disney gets that, considering this is supposed to go streaming, they're going to be very happy with that number. By the way, tonight's kit is a combo. Tonight is Manchester United coat, and we have the Atlanta United jersey underneath. Those are the kit is the United, and the jack is the United. They're just different teams. And it matches the Spider-Man red motif here tonight, which I added a little bit of lighting. Can you guys see it? It's a little bit more red. I put a little bit more to like pop this thing. So give me a thumbs up if you like it. If you think it's too much, don't give me a thumbs up. No, just still give me a thumbs up. Let's get to a few more comments and then get into the next comment, next thing here tonight, the next topic. Dear Eric, what's your favorite perfect long movie? If mine is Seven Samurai. I mean, I love Endgame. I mean, just for it. Listen, I know it's a very much of a commercial film. I get it, but it is the perfect finish to that 10-year arc of Marvel that they gave us. Really, I think that's why I can't believe how far that these two clowns have fallen. I mean, these two, the Russo brothers. Are you kidding? Like, how far could your stock? Your stock is a penny stock after watching both Cherry and the Gray Man. but yet they still are cranking out shit, literally shit. Let's go to the next topic too, and we'll get into more comments. Ezra staying put. Did you guys see what Andy Muschietti said? He said what we told you when we came out of the Flash here on the stream, straight out of theater reaction. What did I tell you? I told you that I can't envision the Flash going forward without Ezra Miller, and Muschietti agrees. He said the exact same thing in an interview. Okay, here it is. Let's pull it up. So this is what he had to say. What I just told you. This is what we do here at MMT. We tell you the future before it happens because we have such great taste and insight. I mean, okay, maybe it's slightly egotistical. Whatever. We've proven it over and over and over. He says no one else can replace Ezra Miller if there's a sequel. Exactly, because that's what you're going to see when you watch the film. If you've not seen The Flash yet, a few of you have, I know. If you have not, just wait. You're going to be like, that's it. That's my guy. That's Flash. Even though we know what happened. If a sequel happens, yes, Muschietti said, about Miller returning for another Flash film. I don't think there's anyone that can play that character as well as they did. By the way, I keep forgetting it's they. I sincerely apologize. The other depictions of the character are great, but this particular vision of the character just excelled in doing it. And as you said, the two berries, it feels like a character that was made for them. It's so weird. In principal photography, Ezra is brilliant and most committed and most professional actor. Ezra gave everything to this role, physically, creative, emotionally. This is his sister, Barbara, the producer. They were absolutely supreme. Listen, he is that good in the film. So we told you, what did we tell you? We told you that Ezra was going to stay put and that if this film performs the way I expect it to, and let me tell you, more confirmation that this film is going to do just as well as we said, which is way better than everyone thinks. When I went to see Spider-Verse on Tuesday, I didn't mention this because we were only talking Spider-Verse. There was a Flash preview screening. I have never seen more people queued up to get into a film. The person that was checking in, the VIPs, was swamped. I'm talking at least 50 people surrounding this poor Warner Brothers representative who's checking names on the list. They're like, I'm on the list, I'm on the list. And then there's a crowd of hundreds lined up outside the Century City, AMC, going all the way down that gorgeous outdoor mall. Man, best mall in LA. Without a question, right near Beverly Hills. I love that place. Hate the Grove, love Century City. The line is going on for like forever. I mean, it's like down the stairs. And you're telling me that The Flash is not going to be huge. It's going to be massive. It's going to be as big as Spider-Verse, if not more. That means 100 million plus for The Flash. We called it before. I'm telling you again tonight, we're always right. We rarely miss. We nailed the Little Mermaid's number, and I bet you we're going to nail Spider-Verse's number here tonight. More comments, then we get into, yeah, it is over for the Russo brothers. Except unless you tell Netflix that. Today, I'm driving back on Sunset. I look up, and there's Extraction 2. And almost as big as Chris Hemsworth's name is from the Russo brothers. I'm like, what is that something to advertise? That's a Russo brothers product? In fact, if anything, I would bury the lead, put it at the very bottom of the billboard in the smallest fucking font you can find. That's how bad they are. The Grove sucks because the parking costs money. Sorry, it's true. The parking sucks. The garage is one of the worst designed garages, and it costs money. Everyone who's not in LA is like, what's the Grove, and why is he complaining about paying for parking? Parking should be free. That's why the Burbank rules, AMC Century City, free for 3 hours. It kills the Grove. The Flash is making under 100. Trey, let's bet. Who wants to bet right now? Bring it right now. Tell me what you got. I'll tell you, I will bet it all. I will bet it all. This film makes over 100 million. Flash. Okay, we're going to talk about it as we get going closer to the release date. But I'm telling you, we're what, 2 weeks away? This film is going to outperform. If you have thoughts on Spider-Verse, welcome to the stream. You just got here, hit me with them. We'll get to it. Continuing on with more comments and more topics. Oppenheimer. It's got an R rating. It's 3 hours long. Okay, why is this surprising? It shouldn't be surprising at all. The R rating, mildly surprising. We haven't seen a Nolan film R going all the way back to what, Memento, 2001, 2002, back in there. He had those. That was R. But everything else has been PG-13. But Universal, when they signed him to the deal, they let him make whatever movie he wanted to make, which includes R and includes 3 hours long. And that is why when I read this tweet today, I almost vomited. Like projectile vomit almost came out of my mouth because I was like, these are the kind of tweets that drive me crazy, especially from Brendan. And listen, I've had discussions with Brendan. I don't know Brendan Hodges. He's the only thing I'll say about Brendan that I know is that at least if he's going to have a discussion about something, he is going to be civil about it. There's a lot of film Twitter people that are a-holes. And people say I am. I'm not. If you engage me as an a-hole, you're going to get a-hole back or get blocked. I don't have time for that. But if you engage me as curious and just being legit, that's the truth. So let me tell you here what I think about this tweet. Imagine how badly Universal wanted to be in the Nolan business to agree to $200 million spend for a non-blockbuster historical drama without action sequences and then limit the box office even more, making it rated R. It doesn't happen anymore by major studios. Brennan, what are you talking about? Where have you been? Where have you been? That's all studios are doing now. They are giving directors carte blanche on their films. Look no further than what we just suffered through a few weeks ago in Beau is Afraid. A film that A24, they handed him $35 million to Ari Aster to make a film that is unwatchable, and they let him make it 3 hours long. It's the exact same situation. Now, granted, I'm not going to argue with you. The budget's a lot higher here at $200 million, but Universal has a shit ton more money than A24. So really, it's the same. They're one and the same. This is the problem with what's happening in Hollywood right now. We have now gotten into this phase that started when Netflix came in with all the cash. And now you have Apple, you have Amazon. These studios now will do anything to get the directors that they're looking to add to their collection, right? When Netflix wants to win an Oscar, they're going to pay whatever it takes to Fincher. And they say, go ahead and make Mank, a movie that is such a boring film. Mank was one of the most disappointing films I think I've ever seen in my life, considering it was Fincher and old-time Hollywood. I can't decide if I was more disappointed by Mank, old-time Hollywood, or Babylon, old-time Hollywood. Mank at least is watchable, but dull as hell. Babylon is a shit show of a film. Again, anyone who recommends Babylon, they're over. Like that Sean Fennessy, I've said it before, I was looking at him again. Why does that guy have so many people that pay attention to him? I'm not saying don't pay attention to me. What I am going to say is, why are you giving so much attention to a guy who praised Babylon and Beau is Afraid? How do you even have an audience at that point? Who are these people? Do they have any taste at all? Because he clearly doesn't. But back to the directors. We are now in a state, look at Babylon. Now we have Oppenheimer. We had Beau is Afraid. These are all films that the studio that put them out let the directors do whatever the hell they wanted to do. And it started with Netflix throwing cash around. Now it's added in with Apple. They got Scorsese, make a 3-hour movie. Haven't seen it. I'm sure it's too long. Every film that's 3 hours long, virtually, not every, but let's just say there's a very high likelihood at 3 hours your film's too long. Okay. And the other thing that you've done here as a Universal, right, as a studio who's trying to make money is, fine, let him make his 3-hour movie. What you do when you announce that a film is 3 hours long, you turn off a segment of the population that's like, I don't want to see this film because I don't want to sit through 3 hours of this. Okay. So once you do that, you limit your audience. R limits it more. I'm saying go for it. I love Nolan. I want to see what he does. But when you put $200 million into a film, which I believe the budget is, right? So somewhere in there, it's around there. This is, it's a problem in Hollywood that needs to be addressed. And I'm telling you, I'm available. Studios, I'm not kidding around. I would walk up to Christopher Nolan, haven't seen Oppenheimer. You got to show it to me first. And I would tell you, I'd walk up to Nolan. I'd say, listen, Chris, man, there's a lot of great stuff here. It's acting, the ensemble, and just your shots and cinematography and the sound design and everything that you do is just really what I love about cinema. That said, we have an issue here where this film has no business being 3 hours long. We can tell this story in 2 hours and 10 minutes. I know we can. We need to go back in and look at this thing. You know why no one does that? Because they don't have the fucking balls to do it. That's why. They don't have the balls to go up to a Nolan, to go up to, oh my God, look at Avatar 2. perfect example. I don't care if he tells me to go F myself. I'm going to walk right up and I'm going to say, your movie, Cameron, is hella overlong. You're going to cut this thing. We're not going to release it. The problem is these directors are no one has the guts to go up and tell them. If I ever see Ari Aster in the wild anywhere, I promise you that I will tell him that he made a movie that is borderline unwatchable for 99% of the population, and that is a disservice to cinema. You did a disservice to cinema. I love you for Hereditary. I think Midsommar's a solid film, not a great film, but a disservice to cinema and to moviegoers, and you really screwed with people with a shitty film. I will tell them straight up because it's bad. I'm done playing nice, and that's why when we do show of the week, I'm now going after that's fair. People that I know, because at the end of the day, we need to be truthful. And if me calling someone a shill is, quote, mean, so be it. Don't be a shill and you won't be called a shill. It's not that hard, guys. Right? Thumbs up. Thanks. Comments. Let's do it. Wow, that was kind of fun. I enjoyed that. Get the tightest cut of any given film. It's exactly it, superhero movies. I mean, no question about it. Well, I mean, listen, what? LCR, what are you talking about? The sound design, his sound, I don't even know what to say there. If you don't understand, his sound design does suck. Okay, I'll give you that. As far as his burying the dialogue, but I'm just saying in general, the sound in his film, I disagree completely, Bodie. I mean, listen, here's the reason why I disagree with that statement that Sean Fennessy is a pretty good critic. I can never, and I will never, in the history going forward for the rest of time, ever trust or put any stock in a critic that raved about Babylon and Beau is Afraid. That is a toxic 1-2 punch of which there is no recovering from. So the fact that this guy has a huge audience is, for me, I don't care if he knows a lot about movies, John. I don't care how much he knows about movies. He doesn't have good taste. And ultimately, that's what this is about. You got to. Why do you guys think that I am nailing a lot of this stuff? Because I told you I have a very good blend of the mainstream movie, right, from growing up in Ohio, and the cinephile guy who lives in LA and loves a great artistic film, right? So you combine those two. These people, like a fantasy, like half the people that write for the playlist, they are circle jerk cinephile critics. They do not speak to the average person. And when you recommend highly Babylon and Beau is Afraid, it is over. I'm telling you guys, there's no debate here. There is no returning from a high recommendation on both Beau is Afraid and Babylon. You are dead. It's over. There's no way that you're ever coming back. I mean, ever. There's no way to come back from that. You guys can say whatever you want about me and Ant-Man 3. Look, I didn't say it's the best movie ever made. This dude is coming out saying that Babylon was one of the best films of the year. That's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassing thing to say. And if I could bring him on the thing, I would rake him over the coals. I'm not afraid. I don't give a crap. Who cares if he has a bigger audience? I don't care. He has terrible taste. The people who obviously listen to him have terrible taste too. I don't care how smart he is. He has no idea how to evaluate a film. When you say Beau is Afraid and Babylon are good films, you suck at your job as evaluated. You suck. Straight up, you suck. Okay, let's lighten the mood, everybody. Babylon's better the second time you watch it. Yeah, it's oh my God, right? I'm telling you, I have never been to the first screening of a film where people got up and left within the first 20 minutes. I'm not talking got up to go to the bathroom. I'm talking couple gets up, leaves the theater, did not return. That tells me I was right. I know this film was terrible. Even if they stayed, I would have known it's terrible, but it just adds to the knowledge that this film's terrible. No way I'm sitting in IMAX stadium seats for 3 hours. Yeah, you have to have a Dolby recliner at 3 hours, right? That's a great point. In fact, I just bought tickets for Oppenheimer in IMAX, which is not a recliner. I'm going to switch that. Thank you, Thaddeus. You rock. You rock. Into the Spider-Verse is like a 9 or 10. Across Spider-Verse is like an 8. Okay, I think the story of Into the Spider-Verse is stronger, right? But the visual and audio experience of Across the Spider-Verse is higher. Therefore, I have them both ranked at a 9. Okay. They literally excel at slightly different things. I love, you guys know I'm always going to rate a film that is going to be a knockout visually, and from an audio perspective, I'm going to rate that high because that is tech, and tech dialed in is really where I'm at. Knowing that Nolan used the American Prometheus biography as a source material for Oppenheimer, there's no way you could tell that story in 2 hours. 230 then. Just give me 30 off. I don't care. Just do something that is tighter. Okay, that's what we're asking for. Just something that's tighter. We got the must-see coming up in minutes. I do want to get to this, though. The Rock, he's getting the Hobbs spinoff. You guys know that we really liked Fast X a lot more than F9. Okay, do we think Fast X is a tremendous film? Of course not. Don't be silly. But we also think it's better than F9. Here's what happened with Hobbs. As you know, he shows up in Fast X in the end credits scene. The Rock's back. You know why The Rock's back? It's so easy. I mean, as soon as I heard this, I go, this. When Black Adam tanked, when it was revealed by James Gunn that Black Adam was not going to continue on in the DCU, The Rock's like, shit, I had my life plan for the next 10 years of blockbusters. I'm going to get paid a ton of cash every time I show up in one of these things. He's like, oh man, I promise you this. The phone call was made from The Rock to Universal, not the other way around. The Rock and his reps, they made the overture to Universal saying, hey, what do you think about a Hobbs spinoff now that Black Adam's gone? What do you think about, right? That is exactly what happened here. The Rock needed this, okay? Sure, he has other things coming. I get it. It's not like he's doing a live action Momoa. I understand. But when you have an opportunity to make money, like The Rock clearly is very good at with his Under Armour deal, with the movies he's in, he thought Black Adam was going to be his meal ticket, at least one of the 50 meal tickets that he has going forward, and now it's not. So he's like, oh shit, I'll go do Hobbs again. That's exactly what happened with this. That's exactly what happened. Also, I want to mention this. This was hilarious to me. This was funny. Did you or did you not see where Vin Diesel said that Jason Momoa was overacting in Fast X? Did you see this? Look at this. Okay, so this is on Radar Online, which is a gossip site, but let's just say it's real. Let's just have fun and pretend this is real. Vin Diesel's blaming Jason Momoa in his performance for the new Fast and Furious, causing the film to be trashed by critics. First of all, it's not a bad film, so I don't know why anyone trashed it. Sure, it's a little convoluted, it's congested, and it's ridiculous. So was F9. It's way better. Here's the thing, though, is that the reason that film is any good and is watchable is because of Jason Momoa. Diesel, here's the problem with Diesel. I don't want to subscribe. Go away. Here's the problem with Diesel. Diesel's ego is way bigger than his talent, right? I mean, I'm not saying he's an untalented guy. That smile's atrocious, by the way. Hey, everybody. Hey, how you doing? There you go. He's got a gigantic ego. And unfortunately for him, he hasn't had success outside of Fast and Furious. That's why he came back as like, let's make it all about me. He has nothing else to work with. I mean, look, he did those films back in 2000s where he did some things. What was the one that came out right around COVID where he played like the Triple X kind of thing? Was one of the triple? He just doesn't have a lot of options because he's not. People in Hollywood don't view him as anything other than a meathead, right? So with him talking shit about Jason Momoa, who makes the film better, Fast X is made by Jason Momoa's flamboyant, ridiculous Gary Oldman in the professional franchise, in the professional film. When you look at that, it's like, that's what we're looking at, and he's so good. Why would you ever knock that? Because Vin Diesel's ego is so big, he doesn't like when other people are talking about anyone but him. But here's the reality. Hey, Vin Diesel, listen, you know what I specialize in is saying the truth, right? That's what we do. We say the truth. And we're not going to mess around. Here's what I'm going to tell you, Vin Diesel. You're not that big a star. You have the Fast and Furious franchise. Certainly that's a great thing for you, and you should continue to value that for at least one more film. No more than one. But aside from that, Vin Diesel, you're not a big deal in Hollywood. And I think that a lot of these stories, if this is true, comes from the fact that he has an ego that's so large he can't take it when someone else is being talked about. And then you guys are all going to come in and say, "Well, look at you! You just attacked Sean Fennessy." Like, no, that's not. I'm attacking him for liking two terrible films and recommending both of them. There's a big difference. He's like saying, I didn't say. Listen, that'd be like me coming on here, if I'm Vin Diesel talking about Jason Momoa, that'd be like saying something stupid about someone that is verifiably not true, right? I say something that's like, what? Come on. Like I could say, if I went after Sean Fennessy and said, like, he doesn't have an audience. He has a much larger audience than the MMT audience, but we love you guys. You guys are smarter than his audience. But I wouldn't, that'd be stupid. But me saying that he doesn't know what he's doing, talking about that's fair game, right? So here is Dom saying something that's totally ludicrous because Jason Momoa makes Fast X. Dom is great in Fast 1, 5, and 8. Listen, I'm not saying he's a bad actor. He's not family. Yeah. He's one note, right? He doesn't have a lot of range. He's got this, I'm a badass. That's right. It was Bloodshot. Oh my God. Bloodshot. It came out right during COVID. I never saw it. Josh, welcome back to the channel, by the way. Black Adam broke the Rock's will to live. Bad enough to crawl back. It's all about money. I mean, listen, he gets on the phone, right? He gets on the phone. By the way, I'm going to use my lighting. I don't have my phone right here. This is my phone. He gets on the phone. This is like the smallest cell phone ever. It does have numbers on it. Yo, listen, Universal, would you consider, I'm open to doing a Hobbs movie. You know, if you could throw a number out there, 20 million. Yeah, I think we could make something. That's the phone call. He calls, his reps call. Listen, he'd be amenable to making this film if you pay him 20 million. That's exactly what happened. The Universal was like, sure, 20 million we'll pay you and we'll make a Hobbs movie. Hobbs and Shaw was fun. I hope that we get Jason Statham in this too, but it sounds like hey, The Rock, it's not like The Rock doesn't have a big ego, right? Of course he does. He's a big star. They're all going to. We all have an ego. So shockingly, I do. I know, guys. Isn't that shocking? Shocking. Chronicles of Ridiculous. Oh my God. Fast X is thankfully doing well overseas. Stateside is just not working. It's not working. Let's get into the must-see tonight because I was talking to, funny, I saw Gone Girl tonight at the movie Twitter meetup. Yes, the movie Twitter meetup, not the film threat meetup. Gore. Tonight's must-see is a film that I bet a lot of you haven't seen. That's why we do these. I would not come on here and say, hey, by the way, tonight's must-see is The Social Network. You guys would be like, okay, thanks, dude. Tonight's must-see in the MMT vault is The Void. I got to watch this because I got a copyright strike for a trailer, so I'm going to zoom past this. I'm going to pull up I'm going to just pull up the actual poster. I can't get a copyright strike for that. Here it is, The Void. It came out in 2016. Okay. No, I don't want that version. Where's the other? I don't want that version. Well, it's got all these different posters. This film is really weird, and that's what I love about it. It's super dark. It's got this bizarre story going on where it's very much, okay, here's how I describe The Void. Same directors of this one went on to do Psycho Gorman, if you saw that film. I got to pull it down. If I get a copyright strike for the trailer from The Void, I'm going to cry all night tonight. Okay, so I'll just leave it there. Here's why The Void is really cool. It's a combination of The Mist and The Thing and what's another weird, like maybe Mandy. It's just a trippy, weird film that's an awesome midnight watch. If you want to, when this stream's over, flip on a crazy, strange, whacked out, totally out there film, you're going to watch The Void. And here's the best part about the film, in addition to the fact that it's super cool and weird and unique and just strange. 1 hour and 30 minutes. Can I make that large? Look at that runtime, everybody. Give me a thumbs up, everybody. Let's hear it. Let's hear it for the 90-minute runtime, everybody. Let's go 90 minutes, baby. That's how you do it. So not only is The Void our MMT must-see because it is trippy, freaky, and totally bizarre, but it's 1 hour and 30 minutes long. You cannot lose with a 90-minute film. I don't care what it is. You're going to like it. Check out The Void 2016, available on your whatever, streaming service you have. I'm sure it's like $4 to rent. You need to check out The Void. Let's get into the comments here on this Spider-Verse night. Anything 90 minutes. I mean, you can't beat it. Yeah, exactly. That is, give me the love eyes. 90 freaking minutes. And it's exactly right, Goober. Practical effects. Another reason it's very good. It's cool. Psycho Gorman, their following film, is a goof film, right? I like it, but it's this film is very much like The Mist. This is not. This is a serious film that by the end your head's going to go like that's the ending of this film. Okay, very Mandy-ish. And by the way, I believe this was before Mandy, right? The Void was 2016. I think Mandy was 2017 or 18. Mandy's a weird. Thomas, thank you. Welcome, buddy. This is what I love. I love to bring new people out because they go, shit, he's talking about a film that no one talks about, The Void. That's what we're doing. By the way, I want to say something tonight. Tonight, I would say tonight's outfit might be one of the best in the history of MMT because we have the black and the red, the Manchester United with the Atlanta United underneath because it's still cold as hell out here in LA. So I wore this jacket to the movie tonight. And then we have the red background that's even more, it's more intense now, right? It's very much like The Void. And there we go here tonight. Thank you for being here, by the way. If you have not yet subscribed, if you've not yet liked the video, please do so. We want to grow this stream, and here's the reason. Not for me. Honestly, I mean this. It's to spread the word about the right films to see and what to support in the theatrical marketplace. This is not a streaming show. This is not a show about TV. This is not a show about anything. Occasionally we do the weird shit. We should actually dovetail right now right into MMT Gets Weird, Gets Freaky, because The Void is the perfect jumping off point for MMT Gets Freaky. But this channel is all about getting you to get into the right films. Thank you. Everything. The headphones are red. This whole thing works tonight. This is a winning combination. It's a winning combination. I really, these lights underneath really like boom. Like, wait, let me show you the difference. Okay, let me show you the difference. Watch. This is one. Now, granted, you're gonna get a little bit off my face. Shit on my face. I don't on my phone memory. I'll show you next time. The lights on and off. But you can see now we got more uplighting going on. It gives me a little reddish tint in the face, but who cares? Who cares? Wait, hold on. I missed something. What did Greasy Guido say? Yep, exactly. Horror movies need to be 90 minutes. Oh yeah, Lovecraftian. I totally agree. It's very much Lovecraftian. Great call. It's a perfect way to put it. Let's do this now. We do have open comment time because we have about 10 minutes or so left on this Thursday night. Anything you want to talk about, anything from tonight's show, from Spider-Verse to Oppenheimer to Fast X to Little Mermaid, whatever you want to do, we can do here because it is open comment time. Let me roll back through the comments and see what we have here. Momoa is legitimately the best villain in the entire franchise. Yeah, LCR, no question. I mean, the manicure scene alone is excellent. Yeah, that scene's weird, right? That's a strange scene where he's got the two dead guys there and he's talking about his manicure. That's what makes the film cool, is it's strange. Anytime I watch a film, I'm like, what the hell am I watching? And that's the strength of Spider-Verse 2. The beginning where she's rocking out. She's losing her mind over the drums, right? She's just doing the crazy drum solo. And you've got the whole intro that we're going to do this different. That whole opening is almost like avant-garde, right? Very Moon Age daydreamy. I'm telling you, if I could talk to the directors, they would tell me they were influenced by Moon Age Daydream, one of the best films of last year, one of the best docs you'll ever see. I am blessed. I am so thrilled to have seen Moon Age Daydream 3 times in theaters in its entirety, because that's a film that really needed to be seen on a loud, large screen. And that's how Spider-Verse 2 feels. That opening sequence, that 20 minutes, is electrifying filmmaking. And that's how you end up with a score at 90+% from me. When you peak and you ping at the top of the meter, you are talking about a film that's going to end up in the 90 percentile because the highs are so ridiculously high. I want to mention, I'll talk about it Sunday, I am going to see Asteroid City on Tuesday night. I'm looking forward to that because it's something different. I've seen so many blockbustery films lately, right? From Fast X to Little Mermaid, even Spider-Verse 2. It still is a very traditional film, even if I do love some of the ways that the filmmakers take this film, take it in different directions. I'm looking forward to watching something strange and going to a Wes Anderson film in Asteroid City. I believe comes in at like 140. Wes Anderson, I got to tell you guys though, it's hit or miss. I mean, when you look at Wes Anderson with me, I love the filmmaking. I love the craft. I love the cinematography. The screenplays are always about, here is this goof character, right? Here is this eccentric person, and you've got to sit with them for the entire runtime. And I think that's why I liked The French Dispatch more than a lot of his other films, because we had three different stories with obviously the middle sections in between. So you had you weren't stuck in one Wes Anderson story. You had three different ones. I'm looking forward to seeing that. We'll have a reaction stream Tuesday night for Asteroid City, like a 15-minute quick, tight, no spoiler. I mean, what are you going to do with a spoiler with Asteroid City? We haven't done any spoilers about Spider-Verse, have we? Except that it's a cliffhanger, but I mean, come on, right? Max, I will watch your short. I promise you. I promise. I will watch your short. I promise. I promise. I have not seen Reality on Max. I saw the trailer, Donald, and it's got Sydney Sweeney, right? Who's, maybe not banging Glenn Powell. That's a good question, everybody. Come in right now. Let's just do that for a second, because this is what we do here on MMT that no one else can do, because we do it live. When you saw the pictures of Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell, right? They made that rom-com that's coming out. Is that just part of the marketing, or were the two of them shagging? I got my answer. You tell me yours. Were Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney banging in the trailers in between takes? Yes or no? Starling Girl is definitely I walked out. I'm going to give it another chance. The problem with the Starling Girl is that it doesn't need to be 2 hours long. It should be 90 minutes, and that is a big problem. I mean, we're talking about a crazy big problem. Okay? Reminded me of the film Compliance from a few years back. Super tight, edge of seat performance. Okay. You're talking about this, okay, good. I will watch the film. I'll talk about it Sunday. I'll watch it over the next couple of days, because if you're saying it's grounded in all this, the problem is, you guys know, it's a Max film. I don't want to talk about streaming films, but I will say that I've heard she's very good, and you're telling me it's grounded, therefore I'll probably watch it, right? If it's anything like this film here, which I know it's not, but I moved Tar down. Do you guys notice that? I moved it closer down here because I put Joker up, I put Tar down, because really the signature film of this entire of the show is Tar. I know it's weird, right? That's why we're so niche. It is what it is. Not sure if the Boogeyman has been mentioned yet. I did. Let's talk about it, because I mentioned it quickly. We have the whole reaction stream about that. I saw it last night and found it to be an extremely by the numbers horror. Yeah, it is 100%. No, it's not a great film, but it's safe. It's well made. I think Rob Zombie, but hey, close enough. The brain's working. Rob Savage shows me that he can do a traditional film, not just a found footage or a webcam film. So that is encouraging. I just think, yeah, you're right. It's not that scary. In fact, I'd argue it's not scary at all. It's safe. It's a perfect PG-13 horror film for the young kids. It's accessible. It's got a little bit of danger and menace for the kids that, maybe are, too scared at some of the stuff, but it's not great. But watch the stream. I mean, I think it's not a bad film either. It's not Smile. Smile's a much better film. Will Mission Impossible make $1 billion? Scott, yes. Mission Impossible 7 is going to be massive. I mean, we're talking like crazy massive. How would it not be, coming off of Top Gun Maverick, right? Coming off of $1 million. How much does that film have? $1 billion what? What does Maverick have worldwide? $1.4 billion? Was it $1.4 billion? I haven't looked at Maverick box office in forever. Whatever. It's almost $1.5 million. That's a ton of cash. And listen, that's a lot of eyeballs on Tom Cruise. And that's why I think this film is going to be huge, right? Not just big, huge. And I know it's got a long runtime, but it's in a good spot midsummer. It can play during summer vacation, and people will go see it. It's a 4 quad film, right? It's got the kids in. It's also got the adults. It's got the male, the female, and whatever else you identify as. Everyone's in for Mission Impossible 7, and therefore you're talking about a big box office, just like we talked about tonight with Spider-Verse 2. The reason that this film is going to do better than everyone thinks is because the fact that the audience I saw tonight is everything. And whenever you have everything, a potpourri audience, and you're just like, good Lord, this is everything you could possibly want. This is the all-you-can-eat buffet of audiences. You are going to have a big number. So that is why, yeah. Oh, I thought it was right there, right? It's almost at 1.5. We're almost there. Hit refresh again. We're almost there. Thumbs up for the Social Network callback. Thank you so much. Are you planning to see Sanctuary? No, I don't want to see it. Johnny, I saw the trailer. I don't want to see that film. And for those you don't know, it's the new Neon film. I have decided that there are certain films I am going to skip. That trailer and the kink and I'm not a big fan of watching beta males on the screen. I know, listen, it's okay if you are. I just don't want to watch a beta male be dominated in a film. I know, oh, there's Eric, the sexist. I'm just telling you, I'm not a fan. And when I watched that trailer, I don't like that. I think that actor is fine. I don't think he's great. What's his name? He's fine. He's fine. I don't want to see the film. I have no interest in watching that film. If it's great, tell me, and maybe I will. But it just, that trailer and the whole, like, do weird shit to me. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. I have Pornhub if I want to do that. I've got X Hamster if I want. I don't need to watch a kink neon film. That's not my thing. Felicity, what do you think about Cruise getting flack for contracting studios for getting more screens for the movie? Did he really get flack for that? Because here's the thing. Let Cruise do what he wants. Cruise is the man, the myth, the legend, right? Let him do what he wants. Tom Cruise maybe single-handedly saved cinema, as we talk about. It looks like I have no fingers when I do that, by the way. My God, I've lost all my fingers. When you look at Tom Cruise and what Top Gun Maverick brought back to theaters, it brought back the old people primarily. Everyone else was kind of coming back. It brought back the couch sitters and the old folk. And when the old folk came back, then we were fully back to like 2019 levels. And we are. I mean, the multiplex is slammed. It's absolutely slammed. No, we're not doing a Matt Naglia physique critique. See, that's the difference between being mean and being fair. When we do shill of the week, we are talking about the fact that the man is a shill. And I would argue that anybody who runs a site that has, and by the way, I have another shill lined up for Sunday. Now they're all coming to me. Anyone who is part of the system, the Hollywood system, and does reviews based on getting them quoted in the thing, or they're going to have advertising on their website, they are a shill. Why? Why are they a shill? Because they cannot say negative things and still have advertising on their site. The reason Midnight Movie Talk can do what we want and say that Ari Aster is a career killer with Beau is Afraid, we don't have ads from A24 here. A24 will never invite me to their Christmas party again. But then again, I don't want to go. It'll be awkward if I run into Ari Aster because I'm not the kind of guy who can sit back and fake it. I'm terrible at it. If you guys watch the channel, you know that. I cannot put on the fake face. That is why I don't work in Hollywood very well. In Hollywood, you have to say, oh, you're so great. Everything you do is wonderful. You're so perfect. And the truth of it is, no, you're not. No, it wasn't good. And people are afraid to do that. And I have no problem being the old school studio head who would just say, this sucks. I've said it a million times before, and you guys can try and cancel me all you want. I don't give a shit because I told you what I'm telling you to do. You need to extract one element from a person who is a vile human being. You can still do that. I start with Chris Benoit, one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time, who also murdered his wife and his kid. A monster of you can't even comprehend incomprehensible proportions, right? The whole point is that when I look at Harvey Weinstein, he is, roll it back with me, guys, a vile, disgusting, I would argue, evil person. But the one thing he was good at was being no nonsense about saying what the reality of a situation was. And that's what we need to have more of in this town, and I will do it. Studios, bring me in. I do not care if I'm liked or disliked. That does not matter to me. If you are worried in your life about whether you're going to be liked or disliked, you are not going to amount to anything, because you're always going to be worried about what other people think of you. I will tell you this: do not worry about what other people think of you, because it does not matter ultimately. They do not pay your bills. You have a duty and an honor to be as true to the true person that you are, that you can be. And I'm telling you that we need more people in Hollywood that will walk in to a film like Spider-Verse 2, come out, and I know I've talked to Lord Miller. I would say, Chris and Phil, this movie's too long. I love so much of it. It's got a lot of great stuff, but there's a lot of scenes that really need to be condensed, and you got to compress this thing. Let's go back and look at this, and let's try to get this thing closer to 2 hours. And now listen, they can say no, because ultimately they're probably going to have, if you ceded to them the power of final cut, then I have no power. But if I am in place to correct things or make things better, then I'm going to demand that you bring your film in at, I think, the highest number I'd have for Spider-Verse 2. And I'm not just saying this based on the runtime overall, the feel of the film. It should be 2 hours, 2 hours and 5 minutes. And we don't have enough studio heads doing this. We have studio heads that are beta bitches. Let's just call it what it is, just like we talked about with Sanctuary. And they are afraid to say what the reality of the situation is. And you can't do that. You have to walk up to Nolan and say, listen, I just sat through your cut of Oppenheimer, and this is 3 hours is too long. This is asking too much of the audience. You are making a film for only a select group of the audience. When we give you 200 million, you have to broaden your overall availability of the film. And if you don't do that, then you're going to cost us cash, and we still want to work with you. We're not telling you have to make a totally different, we're not going to say change the ending. We're going to tell you some of these scenes need to be contracted. Not hard. No. I mean, if you extend it out, no. I mean, listen, you guys understand what I'm saying. You guys understand what I'm saying when we're able to, you guys know what I'm talking about. That's the thing, is everyone who's like, you don't know. You have to have the ability to extract elements of human beings and say this one thing that someone did is good while everything else is in the trash. Now, we're not going to go there, obviously, with Hitler. But we are going to say a perfect example is O.J. Simpson, Chris Benoit, two of the greatest in their sport of all time. We don't know if O.J. killed his wife and Ron Goldman. We pretty much are left to assume that's what happened. I don't know with 100% certainty, but we know with 100% certainty that Chris Benoit did that. But yet, when you go back and watch the video of him in the ring as a technical wrestler, he was one of the best. You guys get it. It's called emotional maturity. Being able to have discussions that may not be easy, but yet we're not going to be afraid, and we're not going to be told by others how we're going to have conversations. We're not going to be told you can't say that. I will say what I damn well want, and you're not going to be able to stop me, because what I'm saying is if you have a problem with it, here's the easiest way. Exit. For anybody who's triggered by anything in this world, there's a button that's called off. There's a button that's called leave. There's an app on Twitter. You can flip it out. Goodbye. The app's gone. I spend time on Twitter in the morning sometimes, and I read these things, people going back and forth, and I go, I don't even want to see this shit. And I turn it off. And I say, go away. Now I use Twitter just to say, hey, I'm on the stream, I'm doing this and that. Twitter is kind of a nightmare, right? We can agree. And the more that I'm off it, the better I am. Okay, we'll go 5-minute warning here. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Titanic 2023 raked in 70 million globally. Mm-hmm. Well, it also got it further up the rank. It pushed it up higher in the worldwide box office, obviously, and that all counts towards it. But I would love to tell James Cameron that his Avatar movie was too effing long. I mean, I would. You didn't have to pay me. Like, if my consulting fee would be like $10K, right? I mean, come on, listen, I'm saving you a ton of cash. So first of all, I wouldn't ask for 10. I'd ask for at least 1,000 because I need to, if I'm coming in, I'm going to save you millions. You need to pay me some cash. Now that's nothing. $1,000 just show me a test screening. The problem is there's too many people in this business in this shill fest that don't even know what they're doing when it comes to evaluating film, that they'd probably go, you're just like them. Like, well, no, watch my stream. You'll know I'm not like them. I know what the hell I'm talking about, as opposed to Sean Fantasy saying Beau's Afraid and Babylon are two great movies. If I was a studio, I would never show Sean Fantasy a movie because he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He speaks for nobody. When I watch a film, am able to watch the target audience, and can it get outside of that? Can it be the perfect film is a film that's going to work with the mainstream audiences and cinephiles? Top Gun Maverick. Look what happened with the film. My notes on Top Gun Maverick would be almost none. Maybe like, I had to go back and watch it again. Maybe like the tiniest thing. But every other film I see, it'd be a long list. And the number one thing is always run time is too long. Run time, 100%. You could have cut out 90% of the scenes with Miles and his mom. The whole barbecue scene on the roof is ridiculously overlong. In fact, that's when I got up and left tonight. I didn't even stay for the whole, because that is a problem when I don't even want to watch any further because I know I'm going to be stuck on the rooftop for like an hour. Like, that's pacing. You got to make this film shorter. Anyone who saw Spider-Verse tonight knows I'm right. This film is too long and it needs to be cut down by at least 15 minutes minimum. But of course, no one bothered telling Lord and Miller. Lord, you follow me on Twitter. If you're watching this, please reach out to me next time. And I tell you, no one else is going to tell you this. And that's why you got to have people like me around, because the average person is going to go, your movie's perfect. It's so great. You guys are gods, Lord and Miller. Nothing you do is wrong. Everything you touch is gold. You can't do that. You have to be honest and open and come up to them and go, listen, man, this film's got to be cut by 15 minutes. Now, it's not just an arbitrary 15. We've got to go in and get that rooftop scene down. We got to get, when he goes to the Spider-Man universe, right, when they all get in there and there's a billion Spider-Men from all over the multiverses. That whole thing, that whole battle, the chase goes on too long. All of that needs to be contracted and condensed. And that's what I want to do. In studios, if you want to get it done, I will do it. You just have to give me the power. You got to let me come in there and I will absolutely walk right up to these dudes and go, here's the deal. Boom. No, we're not doing this. You're going to cut it. All right, that's going to do it for tonight. That was a fun stream. Thanks, guys, for being here. Let me know about the new lights. I pumped it up. My face is a little red, but the lights are popping, baby. It's kind of like this mood. It's midnight movie talk, for God's sake. It's got to have a moody look to it, or it's going to be weird. We're back here on Sunday night, where we talk about the box office. We talk about whatever else comes up over the next few days. Remember, our shows are Thursday night for the openings, Sunday night for box office, and then reaction streams to films as we see them throughout the week. Next Tuesday, Asteroid City, Transformers probably Wednesday, and then on and on. I'll let you know. Don't forget, community tab when there's going to be some special stream. Always get the alerts too. Like, subscribe, get the alerts. Super easy. Super easy. Let's save this for, I mentioned this the other day, Movie Lover. Thank you for the question. Welcome to the channel, by the way. Let's save this for Sunday. That's a great question to delve into on Sunday when more people have seen Spider-Verse 2, and we can talk about Flash because I've seen both of those. I mentioned it the other night. I like both for different reasons. If you missed it the other night, I'll dive further into that on Sunday night. Until Sunday night, live from Los Angeles. Thank you for being here, guys. Really appreciate it as always. Please like, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. I'll see you Sunday night, live from LA. Eric Weber says, good night to you. MMT is out.